welcome to Business Basics Friday. Safi Russell here from SDR Consulting Inc. The purpose of Business Basics Friday is to give, business owners value with various topics from different presenters. A little background about myself. I've been in the industry about 19 years and I'm a CPA and enrolled agent based in New York, but I do have a virtual practice. So we work with clients all over and we mostly work with small business owners, helping them from business formation all the way through to tax preparation and all that fun stuff in between. So that's a bit about myself. We have our guest speaker, Nicole Cigogna. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Oh, yes, so close.
Cigogna, I tried. Okay.
No one ever gets it right, so it's fine. It's fine.
Nicole Cigogna here to share the importance of branding. And I've had the pleasure of being able to work with Nicole, so I'm excited to hear what she's going to share. So Nicole, the floor is yours.
Fantastic. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me here today. And I'm going to put on my glasses or else I'm not going to be able to see anything. And I have had the pleasure of working with Safi for the last few years. And I've been in the business a little over 25 years. And I have a degree in marketing. And for the last, I'd say the last half of my career, I've run nonprofit organizations, but I've been in both the for-profit and the nonprofit world. And when Safi first asked me if I would do this, of course, I was so excited and said yes. And she asked me, what do you want the topic to be? And I said immediately, the importance of branding, because I work primarily with small to medium-sized businesses to be able to create the greatest impact possible for them, and then for them to be able to do that for their clients. And I find that that size of business doesn't always think that branding is relevant to them. They think that's more for the big kids, like the Pepsi and the Apples of the world. But that isn't necessarily true. Branding is so important because as a person, you are your brand. As a small business, that brand creates the feel and the look of that brand. The brand and the business become one, and it's super important and it's relevant, whether you're a small or a medium-sized business or you're one of the Fortune 500 companies. So I've put together some slides today that I'm going to share with you. Here we go. So the importance of branding. So a little bit about the greatest impact. We are a business consulting firm and we provide best-in-class solutions and practical advice. I'm not going to give you any information that you're not going to be able to implement in your everyday business operations. And we really work with small to mid-size companies where we feel that we can make the greatest impact, where we're not just going to be a cog in the wheel. And our services are really designed to create sustainable results for long-term success. We're not the ones that you bring in to put a Band-Aid on an issue, but we're the ones that say, here's the strategy, we're going to implement it, put it into place, and this is how we're going to set you up for success this year, 3 years, and in 5 years. Again, we really want to make your business have the greatest impact possible, to treat everyone with dignity and respect. And we always try to give back. We do give back to our local and to our global communities. So a little bit about me. I don't know if you can see this because I might be here. I don't know. So as I mentioned, I do have over 25 years of business experience. I don't know how that happened. You close your eyes, you blink, and you've been doing this for 25 years. It feels like just yesterday I graduated college. So what have I done in the last 5 years of my career? I was the CEO and the executive director of 2 well-respected New York City nonprofit organizations that really kept me busy and kept me on my toes. I left those 2 organizations to start the greatest impact. I led long-term sustainability planning, which again, it's about creating sustainable results for an organization. I was always responsible for fundraising or creating income streams, whether that was through branding and marketing, best practices, operations, of at least 1 million every year. It was generally in the range of 1 to 3 million that I was responsible for every year. And then somehow along the way, I traveled to 18 countries. I summited Mount Kilimanjaro. Don't even ask how I did that, but I did. And I rang the New York Exchange bell. This was the best thing. One of my nonprofits, Hartley House, that I ran for 10 years, we had this amazing opportunity to go down and ring the closing bell in the stock exchange. And then the guy standing next to me whispered in my ear, there's as many people watching right now as who watched the Super Bowl. And I thought, oh, absolutely no pressure whatsoever. And he said, you can ring the bell however you want, and then you hit it with the gavel. He said, you could do whatever you want. I said, you don't tell a woman like me that I can hit it however I want. And then, of course, banging it and having a great time with it. Life has got to be fun. You can't really take yourself too seriously all the time. So what is a brand? So it really is this intangible concept. It helps you identify your company and helps you identify you as an individual. And it really is one of your most valuable assets. But it is intangible. So a lot of people don't think about it when you ask them, what is your most valuable asset? When you think about intellectual property, this is your intellectual property. It is your brand. If someone were going to buy Pepsi, they're not just buying cans of soda. They're buying the brand. You really need to think about that. So what are some of the elements of branding? You can have people say there are 6 elements, 9 elements. People will argue there's 4. It really doesn't matter. Here are really some of the basics. People sometimes confuse logo with your brand. It's not the same, but it's an element of it. So you have your logo, you have your color palette. Mine happens to be charcoal and this light bluish green that I chose, so it's soothing. I chose the charcoal because it was chic, it was luxurious. The fonts, what's your tone of voice? Are you luxurious? Are you super excited? Are you happy? Are you stern? Are you educational? What's your tone of voice? What images are you using? What's your positioning? And what's your values? When you really think about it, somebody looks at your brand, and in the first 5 to 6 seconds, they've made an opinion about you. I tell this to all my clients: consistency, consistency, consistency. Consistency is the key. You've made a plan, and the plan continues forward. Do not deviate from the plan. Do not make a hard right. There's no reason to be here. If we've made the plan and here's what we need to do not go here. Do not say our colors are red, but maybe sometimes we'll go pink. Our font is always going to be uppercase, but sometimes we're going to go with a hard script. It's not what we're going to do. Like I talked about before, play like the big kids. This is not about, I'm a small shop in the neighborhood and it doesn't matter. It does matter. It does. When you think about the big brands, you can look at any of these, and even if the name were not underneath it, you'd be able to identify all of these brands. You dress for the job you want. You should brand like the organization that you want to be. It's about the hope, it's about the aspiration, it's about how you want your clients and your customers to feel. Don't think it's irrelevant. I think, again, the biggest mistake that small or medium-sized businesses make is that they don't think it's relevant. They don't think it's relevant to them. So some of the key points. Why is branding so important? You should always have a strategy. You should always come up with a branding strategy that says, what is your voice? What color palette are we going to use? What's our font? Where are we going to market? To what audience? Are we going to have niche markets? How are we going to handle this? So once you have this strategy, you need to build your brand. You build your brand and you don't build your product. So for example, there's really saturated markets out there for most products right now. So let's say you have a saturated market and you are producing a pen. Are you going to say that your pen writes in a really dark blue? Or are you going to say your pen fits so gently in the hand of the writer as he's penning a love letter. That's part of your brand. Or are you going to say, my pen is only $3? Or are you going to say that 5% of every purchase goes to a local shelter? That shows your values. You're really creating, in the first one, you're creating a scenario, you're creating an experience, you're building your brand. You're not necessarily selling the product. Everyone can build a better widget. Everyone can have better features associated with it. Everyone can be a better salesperson. But think about who you are and what you're portraying to the outside. Something like this, they know who they are. They're creating this beautiful package. When you get something from Tiffany's, you get this beautiful blue box, and you know it's going to be beautifully wrapped. That's the experience. You have the white bow. If you've ever gotten one at Christmas, you know it has a red bow. I mean, for me, that's what I'd like at Christmas. But Seth Godin, who's a marketing expert, always talks about the expectations, the memories, and the stories. You put them together, and then the consumer will make a decision whether or not to choose your product. You know, when you're buying a Christmas gift, let's say, for example, or a birthday gift, you want to make sure when you buy something for someone that when they get it, that person is really excited. They're getting something from that brand. They may be getting inside a candle, but they're getting something that looks like that. They're getting it packaged with love. They're getting something that says family, but they're getting something that's wrapped in love. And that's the experience that they're getting from your brand. So again, why is brand so important? It's brand recognition. If you are a real estate agent and there are 10 real estate agents in the neighborhood, but you have a personal logo, or you have a team logo, people are going to know who you are in a saturated market of real estate agents. They can pick you out by your brand, by your logo, by your colors. And you think about it, someone can recognize your brand, and that gives you credibility. Someone might say, I want to sell my house. Have you heard of Bob the realtor? Someone will say, no, not really. But have you heard of Mary the realtor? I see her stuff all over the place. And they don't say out loud, I've seen her logo or her colors are soothing, but they're making that indirect inference in their minds. Also, customers know what to expect with your brand. In the example previously, that company does a really good job of packaging and branding. Tiffany does. I know that if I get a box from Tiffany's, it's going to be luxurious. Everything's going to be packed well. It's going to be an experience. I'm going to get a beautiful card. And your brand equates to your values. Think about what you're portraying to your customers, your clients, your target market. And in turn, it increases your market share. So you think about it, you might have market share here, you go to here, you go to here, and eventually you're really taking over more of the market. It's really a psychological issue. When you look at all these pictures, you think, what's the psychology behind these? What feelings do all of these elicit when you look at them? I feel really bad for this dog. I want to go adopt this dog. I want to be at the spa, excuse me, that she's staying in. I really want this necklace. What is this guy so excited about? You know, when you look at these, it elicits feelings. So let's say your friend books a trip for you and her, and she gives you a brochure. When she gives you a brochure, what do you hope is written on the outside? I hope this is written on the outside. This is too scary. I don't know what's happening here. I am not going here. I don't know what's happening here. I want our money back if this is what is on the brochure. And I'm making a quick inference because I think, what is happening there? Someone's child put together the brochure, right? And it's just by looking at it, I have no idea. Same thing here. Which hotel am I choosing? I'm not going here. I'm not going the one where somebody behind the desk took a Sharpie and quickly wrote on it before he photocopied it there and put it out that they have the best service. This probably has babysitting services. I don't have kids. I don't want to go there. Here, this is probably more rustic. I want to go here. And it elicits feelings in my mind. If we look at a couple of websites, I don't know what's happening here. Like, this is just, it hurts my face. It hurts my mind. They're selling a bunch of things. I think, first of all, there is no brand. There are no colors. There are no fonts. There's nothing there. I think if I make a payment, is it going to get lost? What am I buying? If I buy something, is it going to come all crunched together in a package? Oh, wait, they're selling cars? Is that, I don't even know what's happening here. And your website is very much a part of your brand. Here, zero credibility. I'm not buying anything from this. If they have a PayPal link, I'm not buying. I'm not clicking it. Like this, let's say, in 1998, someone was like, you know what, we're going to put up this website and we're not going to touch it after that. This shows me that somebody has no idea about emerging technology. They are not up to speed. And I have zero trust in what these people are doing. And this website also has a video, it has audio, and it has flashing lights. I don't want this guy painting my house. I think I want soothing colors to my office. I chose soothing colors for my brand. Is this loud, or is his brand is saying to me that it's loud and obnoxious? Are those his values? Are the painters he hires going to be loud and obnoxious? I don't want this guy's team at my house. And I know that only 42 people visited his website. Not impressive. So last but not least, to kind of wrap it all up, you want to build the brand. You want to be consistent about it. Please be consistent about it. You want to express your values through your brand, through your marketing, through your advertising. You want to use those brand elements that will speak to your target market. Your brand is your ambassador to the outside world. And you don't have to say anything, but you have these words and you have these colors. You can write, and without my tone of voice, you could just write, come to my restaurant. Come on down to Bill's Barbecue. Come dine by the water. Come have a magical experience with your family in the hills of Tuscany. It's just the tone of voice that you're using with the words. These are the elements. What is your target market? Maybe come on down to Bob's Barbecue is great, because maybe your target audience speaks like that, has a more laid back style, a laid back attitude about things. You're eating outside, you're eating with, paper napkins, you're using plastic utensils, and that's great. But maybe your target market is a more upscale target market that wants the fine china, that wants the fancy utensils, wants the flatware. Whatever it is, make sure that it aligns. And you want to intentionally elicit feelings. I tell my clients all the time, you want to be intentional and purposeful and thoughtful about what it is you're doing. You want to elicit feelings that align with your brand. But whatever you do, be thoughtful and be intentional. So if you want to learn more about branding and marketing and anything else, you can capture information on this screen and go over my website and check it out. I hope that's been helpful. Hope I made you laugh along the way. You want me to stop sharing this, Safi?
Yes. And that was helpful. And I did have a few good laughs. Thank you for that. definitely. Um, that was great. I think that if you're not working with someone and if you don't have previous experience in the industry, you have no idea what branding is. I didn't. I had no idea when I first started out, and picking my colors. I was like, wait, what? I have to pick colors and I have to use them all the time. So now I have
Right,
like
right.
my color code saved in my phone. So whatever I do, I try to stick with,
Yes.
those colors. But I had no idea prior to working with somebody in that industry. So it's important, and it's important from the beginning of your business because you set that tone, and then you can be consistent, like you said, and you're not all over the place. And so, yeah, if you see the history of my social media, you'll kind of see the transition from no branding to branding, and what that looks like. So that's definitely helpful. And I know, personally, Nicole, you had some to make shifts in your branding and kind of go with the flow of things. A lot of business owners, maybe you do start in one space and you maybe have to make a transition. I know COVID changed a lot of industries, and so maybe you have to rebrand sometimes, and that's okay too, to pivot and make that change. So if you want to share a little background about that, that'd be great.
Sure. That was a scary time. When I first started my business about 30 years ago, it was called She Goes with Gratitude. And it was meant to encourage women to travel the world solo with confidence and nurture their souls and have cathartic experiences traveling the world and do it all solo. Um, and it was great. We had set it up. I had the brand, the colors, the website. I was on 23 platforms and the branding was solid. And then the most unexpected thing happened. The world shut down. Airports shut down. Countries closed their borders.
Yeah.
No one was traveling with confidence anywhere. There was no woman who was going to get on a plane by herself and fly to China. It just was not happening anymore.
Mm.
And I think, as most of us, we had thoughts that it was going to be fine in like 4 weeks.
Right.
Then it was going to be fine in 6 weeks,
Right.
and then 3 months. And the bills keep coming and things keep happening. And I've been blessed for years to work with an executive coach who really helped me through it and understand. And if you don't work with an executive coach, I would say that's really something that's very valuable. That's been very valuable for me.
Mm.
And in the times when I was so upset and I didn't know what to do, and she would say, well, what are you going to do? How are you going to pay for the things? And while this is such a heartfelt and amazing brand and something that you brought to the table and really loved so much, and I always had this feeling that I was abandoning it,
Mm.
and I couldn't. And I said, you know what? I think I'm going to have to pivot.
Mm.
And we used that word before it was buzzworthy, before everybody used it. We said,
Right.
we have to pivot. So I used all the skills. She helped me understand, I had all these skills from being the president and CEO of organizations for so many years and saying, here are all the things that I've always done. And here are all the things that I've always been good at. I know how to brand because I've done it for this company. I've done it for all of these. That's what my degree is in branding, is in marketing communications.
Mm.
I just have to pivot and figure out how to help small and medium-sized businesses, or how to help people start their own businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to rebrand, and I rebranded as The Greatest Impact. And that comes with a lot of work, from paperwork with New York State and redoing a website that took 4 months. And, if you could see my whiteboard right now, it is crazy with things that need to be done for a rebrand. But as challenging as it was, it needed to be done, and it's working out well.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for sharing that. And you know what, in the times that we're in, some people may be in that position. So, being that you've gone through that, you can definitely provide value to them and help them through that. And then being, in the tax and accounting world, I, experienced it with clients as well. And, you could be passionate about something and maybe in a couple of years it'll be back. But in the meantime, if this is all you have coming in, you have to do what you have to do, and then put yourself back out there and make it work. And in terms of branding and niche down marketing, I think you mentioned, that's something that I find personally, challenging to kind of narrow down your focus. I know that it's more effective, but what can you share as far as the importance of that and your brand?
So people could say, how do I do this? Because my market is the general population. I'm selling um, mugs, right? And this is to the general population. This happens to have a letter on it that somebody bought me with my initial. But there are niche markets, right? At the end of the school year, parents want to buy teacher gifts. That might be a niche market. You have very specific requests, probably from people who want to put pictures on it. You have kids who want to buy gifts for their parents. You have all kinds of segments that you can create. You might even just do an analysis of your sales over the last 12 months to see where are your sales primarily coming from. You probably have on the bell curve, you probably have a lot of sales around Christmas. Perhaps you have a lot of sales around May and June, and you find out it's because of graduations, it's because of weddings.
Mm.
Perhaps you find that you had 7 weddings during that time and people bought them as the giveaway gifts. That could be a niche for you.
Mm.
Maybe something that you come up with on your own, or it may be based on whatever your sales are. But, again, you might have a clientele that's just a mass market, or you might have that clientele that wants the super high-end service. I do that with our travel clients. We look and say, well, if somebody calls me and they want to go to Florida, they want to go to Cancun, they want to go wherever, that's fine.
Mhm.
But we also have those clients that want to spend $25,000-$30,000 because they want that top service, and they want to go to the best of the safaris in Tanzania, and they don't really care how much it costs, because to them it's all about the service.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. That was helpful, definitely. And I know that's important, piece of your brand, because you want to know who you're talking to. And the marketing is more effective when you're speaking to a specific group or, service provider, et cetera. So that was great. So we are going to open it up for questions. If anyone has a question for Nicole regarding branding, feel free to throw it in the Clubhouse chat or raise your hand. Facebook, leave a comment. If not, we're going to go ahead and wrap up in a minute or so. And this will be available for replay, live on the Facebook page, and also will be on the podcast in a couple of weeks, as well as on YouTube. So feel free to share with a friend, and definitely, I'm hoping it provided value to you. I know it did to me, and I'm sure it will to others. So I don't see any questions at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and do my, close out. And Nicole, I'll have you go ahead and share your contact information, just because I know a few people are listening via audio only and weren't able to get the barcode. So just in
Oh,
closing, if you're joining us a little bit later, my name's Safi Russell, CEO and founder of SDR Consulting, Inc., and CPA and enrolled agent based in New York, but we have a virtual practice. So we do work with clients all over, and mostly working with small business owners, helping them from business formation all the way through tax preparation and all that fun stuff in between. So Nicole, you can go ahead and share your summary, as well as how you can be contacted.
sure. And first of all, I highly recommend Safi. She is my go-to phone call every time I have any kind of financial question. My name is Nicole Saconia, and I am the owner and founder of The Greatest Impact. You can find me at thegreatestimpact.com, or you can get in touch with me at Nicole, Nicole, at thegreatestimpact.com. And we provide comprehensive business services to small to medium-sized businesses to strengthen them, to advance them, and to help make the greatest impact possible for them. We want to create sustainable results for long-term success. And we do that through providing services of branding, marketing, management consulting, financial consulting. We also do business writing if people need help as an ad hoc one-off project. And lately, we've been doing a lot of social media management, but you can check that all out on thegreatestimpact.com.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much, Nicole, again, for taking the time out
Oh,
with us today and sharing that valuable information. Just as far as the next 2 weeks, we are at December 17th, 2021. So we are going to be off the next 2 Fridays for the holidays. So I want to wish everyone a happy holiday season. Have a safe holiday season. Happy New Year. And we will be back that first Friday in January with a topic that will be of value, and 12 o'clock Eastern will be the time. So enjoy some time with your family, take some time for yourself, work on your brand, right?
On your
And
brand. Call me. I'll help you work on your brand.
yes, contact Nicole for that. And in the tax and accounting world, make sure you got your bookkeeping and all that situated because we'll be in tax season as soon as we hit the
There
ground
we
running in
go.
2022. All right, so everyone have a great day, and Nicole, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.